Good day. My name, for broadcast purposes, is Grandpa 1940, and I would like to talk to you today about voting. The title of my short speech, The Labour Party Call for Democracy. Vote early, vote often, and vote for us. When you hire a car, you present a driving licence, because that card explains both who you are to the hire car people and also tells them that you hold a valid licence to drive the car which you're proposing to drive away in. When you arrive at any airport, somewhere along the line which stretches through the truly abominable and disgraceful body searches, initiated because the authorities cannot be seen to target the most likely suspects, namely dark or swarthy-skinned men and women, and therefore target even 77-year-old white Geordie grandfathers whilst passing through security, through the extended cash trap known as duty-free, and onwards through the overpriced and badly cooked fast food stalls to the final hurdle of the departure lounge, you will have had to prove your identity, complete with photograph, at least twice, along with the fact that you hold the magic boarding card, before you board the aircraft and settle into your overpriced, uncomfortable and cramped seat. If you are, as I am, over the age of 65, you may travel at no cost to yourself on a bus. If you hold a bus pass which identifies you as the genuine deal, a pensioner complete with photograph, and as such there is a taxpayer-funded access plan to free travel in many areas of the local council approval. There are any number of occasions when you are asked to prove your identity, to prove who you say you are, and no one objects, because it is patently obvious that the rules for access have to be policed. For example, if you have to enter, say, an NHS hospital for treatment for what might be termed expensive and possibly life-threatening surgery, you want to be sure that the people in charge of the scalpels are all up to their scratch in their jobs, and they want to be sure that you are a British subject and thus entitled to all the taxpayer-funded resources of the British National Health Service. It's as simple and at the same time as complicated as that. So why, might we ask, are we hearing of all this unadulterated bullshit when it comes to proving your identity before you're allowed to enter a penciled cross upon a ballot slip in a polling station in certain local or in all new future national elections? At one step, the possibility of a fraudulent vote is cancelled out. At one step, the polling station attendants know exactly who you are and if you are registered on local council tax lists, because if you are not, you simply cannot vote. It seems that the Guardian newspaper is applauding the Equalities and Human Rights Commission and their legal officer, Claire Collier, who told Government Minister Liddington, the Commission is concerned that the requirement to produce identification at the given local elections, Bromley, Gosport, Swindon, Watford and Woking, will have a disproportionate impact upon voters with protected characteristics, particularly older people, transgender people, people with disabilities and or those from ethnic minority communities. In essence, there is a concern that for some voters will be disenfranchised as a result of restrictive identification requirements. She also stated the EHRC says evidence of supposed fraud is minimal and warns that there is a real risk that legal residents who might not have a passport or a driving licence, or might be reluctant to produce them at polling stations, could be disenfranchised as a result. The question must be asked, is the Equalities Commission wishing to override the Electoral Commission as well as the government? The EHRC, in my view, should mind its own bloody business in the fields of democracy. We've been doing this a lot longer than they have even been alive, never mind poking their noses into areas which does not concern them. Now I, being a member of at least two of these protected species, being both old and a Geordie, resent being told that I am reluctant to produce identification at a polling station. After all, if I was reluctant to prove who I was, I would not be able to drive a hire car, get on board an aircraft, or sit on a bloody bus. The reasons given are spurious. All these bloody Liberals want is to allow as many illegals as possible to vote, and we all know who they will vote for, don't we? I thank you for watching and listening to my viewpoints, and I hope to see you again soon.